Hi, Vitas Physio here, and today we're going to look at how to strengthen the neck. When we look at a lot of fitness and rehab programs, there isn't always a lot of emphasis on strengthening of the neck. So today's video is just going to go over some simple concepts that one can use in order to strengthen and increase the mobility of their neck. So when we think about common exercises that do help strengthen the neck, we're usually thinking about anything involving shoulder movement. So we're looking at shrugs, any type of overhead pressing, as well as any type of pulling or rowing maneuvers are going to help strengthen some areas of the neck, especially when it comes to the upper traps. So beyond that, it might be useful to incorporate some specific strengthening and mobility exercises of the neck, especially for individuals that need to meet certain day-to-day demands. So the first exercise that we're going to go over, just some simple seated isometrics. So isometric means muscle contraction without movement at the joint. So in this case, I'm just going to push into the side of my head. Again, all the muscles on this side of the neck are contracting. I'm going to hold for 3 seconds. 2, 3. Good. And then we will repeat that from the other side. 3. And then we can repeat that from the back and the front. So again, I'm pushing on the back of my head, resisting it. And then lastly, pushing on the front of the head. So we just kind of looked at side to side flexion, flexion and extension. And the last thing we want to look at is rotation. So just kind of pushing into the side of the chin. You're essentially trying to turn your head and resisting that. Good? Good. So we just did rotation to either side there. So we did all 4 directions, and then we did two directions of rotation. So the other thing we're going to look at is dynamic strengthening. So now we did the isometrics where we're contracting the muscle and holding the position. Now we're going to do it through a range of motion. So just to give you an example here, so I'm in side lying position, and again, we're doing an isometric here. So essentially I'm holding my head against gravity and holding that position. So when we start talking about dynamic, we're just going through a range of motion. So essentially we're just going to let our head drop and then coming up all the way. Then we might even want to differentiate between the upper neck and the lower neck. So what I mean by that is you might actually want to start lifting the head without tilting the head upwards. Then once I get to the top, I tilt the head up. So the opposite of that would be tilting the head first and then tilting the bottom of the neck. So next we're going to go into neck flexion. So again, we're off the edge of the bench here, and we're just going to let our head come down and then coming all the way up. So again, if I want to break it down into upper neck flexion and lower neck flexion, I'm just going to break it down into whether I initiate the movement from the lower neck or the upper neck. So in this case, we'll start with the upper neck. So I'm all the way in this position. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go into a chin tuck and then lift my head up. So going in reverse, I'm going to keep that chin tuck and then release it at the end. So now going the opposite of that, I'm going to start with the lower neck first. So I'm keeping my chin tilted back, even though I'm lifting my head. And then at the end, I'm tucking my chin in. And again, going reverse, tucking my chin back, and then lowering the head. So last one we're going to go over is neck extension. So I'm just going to let my head come all the way down. And all the way up. So again, I'm just going to give you an example of how to move the upper neck versus the lower neck. So again, I'm going to go into that full flex position. So if I want to start from the upper neck, what I'm going to do is initiate with that chin movement. So essentially I'm extending here at the upper neck first, and then moving with the rest of the neck. So doing that in reverse, I'm keeping my chin up, and then tucking my head at the end. So now we'll do the opposite. I'm going to keep my chin tucked all the way up until I reach that limit, and then release the chin tuck. So again, starting with the tuck first, and then lowering the head. So we're just going to talk about some strengthening the neck initiated from shoulder motions now. So I'm going to take a band. You can obviously use weights. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrug my shoulders. So we're mainly strengthening the upper traps here that go from the shoulder into the neck. And of course, you could do that with any type of row as well, so feet extended forward. Again, we're going to be targeting some of the neck with this motion. And then lastly is going to be any type of overhead movement. So again, going into our overhead press. We can even do a shrug from this position. So there you have it. So those are just some exercises and ideas that one can use in order to improve the mobility and the strength of their neck. As always, if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, thank you.